So I found that I like to start these out with quotes, and a lot of times they're from the book. And this is one of the ones from today's chapter. Talent is cheaper than table salt. What separates the talented individual from the successful one is a lot of hard work. That's by one of my favorite authors, Stephen King. I'm Coach Bobby Brown with Sober Life Right. And what I do is I help people live their most amazing lives free from drugs and alcohol. The way I do that is through an intensive 90-day one-on-one coaching program, the Builder's Blueprint coaching formula. I also try and do it through these videos, just by sharing what's worked for me, sharing things I've learned. And right now I'm going through one of my all-time favorite books, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Got my copy here. Jack's the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. You've probably seen his books somewhere because they're everywhere. I'm doing a chapter a day, and if you haven't read this book, please do. It's an amazing book. If you need a copy, I am an Amazon affiliate. I've put a link in the description. Please use my link. I get a little commission from it, but regardless, just get the book and read it. Search it online if you have to. However you want to look at it. This is an absolute encyclopedia of habits and principles that successful people do. So that's my plug for the book. That's kind of guiding these videos. Today's chapter is chapter 16. And it's all about being willing to pay the price. Today happens to be Easter Sunday, so very appropriately, I can't help but think about, I am a Christian, I'm a man of Christian faith. And so one of the role models for me on how to be a successful man is Jesus Christ. And I think about, I can't help but think about today's the day of resurrection. And I can't help but think about Jesus' willingness to pay the ultimate price, and the way that he was willing to do that just with silence and just absolute love for others. And I think about my journey into becoming a coach today. I'm 50 years old. I have battled substance use disorders, intentionally trying to do something about it for over a decade. I am a man in long-term recovery. What that means for me is that today I do live an amazing life free from drugs and alcohol. And it's been that way since July 22nd, 2021, so much less time than the decade of when I first decided that I should probably do something about my drinking, at least. And I think about what my ignorance cost me a lot of the times. Things that I just did not know. When I think about the knowledge I have about addiction and recovery compared to when I first started out, it's just a world of difference. It's crazy what can happen in a decade. Tony Robbins, one of my favorite coaches, talks about that sometimes. Like, most people they overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade. And I think that's pretty powerful, because if I look at, my first thought that maybe I should do something about drinking happened right after my 40th birthday. I woke up with a hangover that was beyond some very embarrassing stories. I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't drink like that anymore. That's the first time the thought really occurred to me. Just before that, drinking was just normal. It was just, okay, well, it was just fine. And I think about today, where my entire life centers around recovery. All my peer groups, the people in my community are in recovery. I work in recovery. What I read, what I listen to, it's all about recovery. I've coached thousands of men and women in recovery, like help them get through the steps. That's the price that I was willing to pay to get to live this amazing life, which for me meant that like I had to stop using drugs and alcohol no matter what. They had ruined everything in my life. They had basically like a wrecking ball come through and just destroyed everything. So it was, I mean, maybe it wasn't that big a price to pay, because like the alternative for me was to keep going on to the bitter end. My 12-step people will be familiar with that phrase. And I was probably going to die. Like, that's just the reality of it. But I want to talk about Jack. I want to talk, and I like talking about my recovery, and because I think hopefully that that may give somebody out there hope that's still suffering, to hear that, okay, like here I am talking about this right now, but the truth is, like, today my life is amazing. I love every aspect of my life. But I have to remember that I have big goals in mind. So that means I've got to just keep doing things. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place today, but that's all right. We're gonna talk, and you're gonna get the authentic me, and you're gonna get the vulnerable me. And I don't script these. I just talk about. I just do what I've been doing and learning to do for the last 30 years. It's just to try and communicate and try and share ideas and try and break things down so that they're easy for people to understand. Some of the things that he talks about in the book, and there's lots of stories about guys that, did amazing things. But it does talk about how pain is temporary, benefits last forever. It talks about an Olympian that, that won a gold medal because he was able to do a routine with a broken knee. I think back to the Carrie Scruggs when she did the gymnastic performance and landed this, and I know nothing about gymnastics, but whatever it was pretty awesome. And she landed it and with serious injuries, and caused him to win the gold medal. Being able to understand pain, like some of the pain points for me, in order to pursue this dream of building a coaching business that would give people opportunities and that would really show the value of what a recovering addict or alcoholic can bring to another person's lives. I sacrificed financial health for a long time. Today, as I'm doing these videos, I take the bus. I don't have a car. I'm working Easter. I work schedules that detract from a lot of other things. I've sacrificed having a consistent, solid relationship with a woman. Maybe that's not all my choice. Some of that's just I'm kind of messed up, and so girls don't stay with me very long. But I'm growing. I'm getting better. But I've sacrificed being able to do those things. I've sacrificed being around my family. I've stayed in Houston because this is where my recovery family is and where I could be most involved in recovery. I have sacrificed. I made some sacrifices. I've been willing to pay the price. I get up early today. Today I got up at 8:30. I've got to leave the house at 9:30. I'm making this video, and I'll edit it on the way to work, and I'll because this is a non-negotiable for me. I think about how I can help others, and think about what I do. Why don't people pay the price? Well, a lot of times they are paying the price, and they just don't have the right perspective on it. And that's one thing as a coach that I can help people with, so I can help bring clarity. I'm real big on mindsets. There are ways that we can perceive the world that are more helpful than others. I'm big on belief systems. I'm able to help people come up with plans that are manageable. help people identify like what are some of the prices you're going to have to pay, and what are you willing to do, and what's going to be most helpful, what's wasted energy. You know, I've got a lot of experience with figuring out like what's most important, and helping people kind of discover that for themselves. Like, crazy thing, coaching it's such a cool job, because it's not about, I can coach anybody because it's not about my life. Like, I don't coach somebody to live my life. I could print you out a checklist of what I do if you wanted to live my life, and just do what I do and you'll get what I get. But it's about helping somebody discover like what does success look like to them? What would an amazing life look like for them? Where are they at right now? And then help them figure out, okay, well, what do we need to do to get there? And what are you willing to do to get there? You know, are you willing to meet weekly? You know, that's real important. I've been going through kind of some marketing stuff and how I'm going to present my Builder's Blueprint coaching formula. And like, one of the questions I had to ask is, you know, what's required of people if they're going to work with me? And you know, are you willing to meet once a week for an hour? We can do it visually. Like, I'm gonna make it easy for you. We'll do it on Zoom, so you don't even have to like be here. Just an hour a week. Are you willing to do daily check-ins? You know, are you willing to be held accountable to a plan? You know, thinking about the reasons why. Somebody asked me what's the biggest objection people have to coaching? Like, the truth is, it's not the money. It's not that they can't make time. Like, the biggest reason people won't do coaching, I think, they don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves to show up. They don't trust themselves. They don't trust that they're capable. They lack self-confidence somewhere, and that's something that I can help with. And like, that's the whole reason you won't sign up for a coach is the reason you really need one. You know, if confidence comes from preparation, and confidence comes from preparing yourself. And who better to help you prepare yourself than having a coach? So I hope somebody liked these videos. Happy Easter again. And please like, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do. If you're interested in what I'm saying, would like to do some one-on-one coaching, and you think you're ready to pay that price, leave coach in the comments, and I'll reach out and let's talk. And we'll see if we've got, see if we're a good fit. Thanks.